Sergiy, a Ukrainian army medic stationed in Lysychansk, insisted late this week that his country's forces' withdrawal from neighboring Sievierodonetsk was a tactical withdrawal and was dependent on the difficulty of evacuating the wounded from the city across the heavily shelled Siversky Donets River. The wounded sometimes die because the evacuation is stretching for 1.5 hours to 2 hours, said Sergiy, who noted that often casualties had to be ferried across in small boats. Human resources are worth more than the buildings that are left there, he said. Another soldier in Lysychansk named Sergiy said that for now they were holding their city on the high ground, but that an order to retreat could come at any moment. Lysychansk, which sits on high ground on the western banks of the Siversky Donets River, is slowly being flanked by Russian forces attacking from multiple directions. Having failed to make progress in a head-on assault, Russia's forces have been pressing for weeks to break through Ukrainian defensive positions to the southeast of Lysychansk. This weekend, they were able to break through that part of the line, leaning on heavy artillery barrages and tank advances. Ukrainian soldiers in the city described fierce fighting near its outskirts, and medics there were hard at work on the steady stream of casualties coming in. On Thursday, shelling near the supply lines that run toward Lysychansk was incessant. Ukrainian rocket launchers, their tubes loaded, waited to move into position or sped toward the front. What appeared to be 2 cruise missiles also hit Bakhmut, about 30 miles to the southwest, a supply hub for Ukrainians, sending mushroom-shaped clouds of smoke into the air. Sergiy, the head of the Luhansk region's military administration, said on Friday morning that the Russians had gained more ground around the city overnight. But unlike with Sievierodonetsk, which is essentially on flat ground, the complex terrain of hills and ridges in and around Lysychansk has offered the Ukrainians multiple defensive positions. The enemy presses very hard, since they have significantly superior forces than ours, he said, adding that Russian forces were also trying to infiltrate the city with smaller subversive reconnaissance groups. We repulsed attempts to go deep into the city, he said. However, he said wave after wave of Russian assault had created a very difficult situation. In order not to miss the news, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. I am waiting for your comment on the news.